Hey, what's going on, guys? Joe McCall, Real Estate Investing Mastery Podcast. I'm excited about this episode because this is something that I've been working on for a long, long time. And I found somebody to partner with on this that I think is going to be pretty awesome for a lot of you guys. And what we're going to be talking about on this podcast is how to make money as an investor agent, how to make money as a realtor, but not the typical way that you see most realtors making money. Because I'm telling you something, the system is flawed. It's rigged. It's rigged against you. Most realtors out there doing traditional realtor stuff are barely scraping by. I mean, I don't know the numbers. My guest that I'm going to bring on, Alicia, will probably give us better numbers, but it's pretty dismal. The average annual income or salary that the realtors make, it's pretty bad. And even the quote unquote top producing agents that you see on the billboards, they're not making nearly as much as you think they are. And we're going to show you a really awesome way where you can be a realtor, but also be an investor, actually be an investor agent. And we've talked about this for a long, long time, because there's issues with licensing. If you're an investor and you don't have your license, you cannot be in the business of putting a buyer and a seller together. That's brokering, right? You can't be in the business to go find the buyers first and then go find a deal for them. You can if you're using the right contracts, but it's one of those things, and we'll talk about this on the podcast. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but it's one of those things where if you don't do it just right, if you're not using the right paperwork that you're supposed to be using, you can get in trouble with the local real estate commission. So I've been saying it for a long, long time. You should get your license. Doesn't mean you have to do everything as a realtor, but there is a way that you can make a bunch of money, especially right now in this market, if you're smart about it and you go out and get your license first, and then the sky's opened up for you. And it's pretty amazing. It's awesome. I'm excited about this. And I have a guest today. Her name is Alicia Sierra. I'm going to bring her on in a minute. But we're going to be talking about this because I'm doing a case study coming up as we're recording this real soon here. And as you're listening to this, it's going to be in a few days. And we're going to be talking about how whether you have your license or not, how you can actually profit by going out and finding the buyers first, finding the ones with the money, and then bringing them deals. So I think we should just bring Alicia on now. How about that? Alicia, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Alicia Sierra. She is a rock star in the St. Louis area, but she's been doing deals for a long, long time. And this is something that, Alicia, I've been thinking about for a long time. One of my best students, who was my former acquisitions manager, does about 90 to 100 deals a month. And I think you might know him as well, but this is exactly what he does. Not a month, 90 to 100 a month, 90 to 100 a year. But this is exactly what he does. And I've talked about this before, guys. If you followed me for any time, I went to Europe and I went on an RV for about 3 months with my family of 6. And this is exactly what we did. We went out and found the buyers and brought them deals. But I've never really taught this before because, even though I have my license, I hang my license with Keller Williams. It's a great brokerage. I've never done this as an agent like Alicia has. And so Alicia, welcome to the podcast again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Glad you're here. You've been in the business a long time in the St. Louis area. Talk about that. How long have you been doing this stuff?
Well, I've been a real estate agent, a salesperson for 12 years.
Yeah.
And before that, I've been in real estate for more years than I care to disclose. But before that, I was flipping houses full time.
Uh-huh.
And we ran into the crash.
Okay.
So that's between that and having come from flipping houses, that's kind of how this whole thing started.
So you've been on the realtor side of things and the investor side of things.
Right.
Which one do you like better? Is that a fair question to ask?
Well, do you really have to choose?
Well, maybe not. Right?
I don't think you really necessarily have to choose. I'm probably more realtor than investor, but I think someone can come at this with the flip ratio.
Yeah.
Approach. So you can be both. I guess that's what we're here to talk about.
Yes, you can do both, and you can do both very, very profitably. Let me just set the stage for this a little bit because um, I've worked with a lot of people who were realtors doing the traditional realtor thing, chasing the listings, right? And you would think they were a top producing agent. They were on the billboards. They had the huge teams, right? But you sit down and look at their numbers, like really dig into their numbers. What is your net that you're taking away, that you're putting into Hip Pocket National Bank after paying all of your staff, all of the marketing, all of the commission splits that you have to make with your broker? How much are you really making? And how many hours are you working to do that?
I've been down that road. Yes.
It's pretty bad.
It's a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Oh man, it's especially bad in the realtor industry.
It is. That's a whole nother podcast. But the culture, just to boil it down, the real estate agent culture is very much workaholic.
Yes, they work. The ones that are good, and they're
it's
good
workaholic and boundaryless culture.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't want to take lessons on boundaries from a realtor.
No, you don't. That's the Realtor Therapist podcast. We'll have to do that. It could be both. Maybe you could teach us. But yeah, it definitely is. And, there's a lot of expenses that can eat profit up pretty fast.
Yeah, right.
If you're not careful.
All right. So let me also give you a little more info on this because I was doing a lot of wholesaling the traditional way back in the day. Yes. And I was talking to one of my coaches and mentors at the time. And I wanted to, because I saw a lot of money coming into the market. And there's still a lot of money coming in the market. You know what else, guys? There's a lot of money sitting on the side right now, waiting for the market to cool down, waiting to come and buy some deals. So don't think like, oh man, the market's going to change soon. I don't want to get into the market yet. No, there's a lot of opportunity coming still. All right. So anyway, my coach and mentor at the time said, Joe, you need to go find the buyers first. And I think I had my license at this time. I'm not sure. And it's called reverse wholesaling if you're doing it the investor way, where you go, instead of going out and it's so much easier to make money in this business, guys, when you sell people what you have, what they want instead of what you have, right? If you go out and you try to find stuff, you can still do this. This still works. And then you sell people what you have. You can do it, but it's more challenging. What Alicia has done is figured out, okay, where are the buyers? Because they're the real customers, right? And they're the ones with the money. And then you go find out what they want, and then you go bring it to them. Right. And what Alicia has done here, which is so awesome and exciting, is she's doing this as a realtor and making very good money doing this without working that hard. I mean, she's a hard worker. She's working she works hard. I don't know how many hours a day or week you work, but compared to the traditional realtor route of listings and stuff like that, it's a lot less.
Yeah, it is. And I'm not really working on Sundays. So we'll start there. So that's a good start. But no, it's true. I mean, it's, you said the market, there's a lot of opportunity coming to the market. There's always opportunity. It's just always changing.
Yeah.
It's just a seller's market, a buyer's market, a little bit of both, what have you. Like I said, I started at the beginning with the crash. And at that time, a lot of realtors were leaving. It was gutted. I mean, like I'm sure you remember a lot of realtors just left because everything crashed. But that was an opportunity for the buyers. And so that's how the whole thing started. Nobody wanted to sell those cheap houses. I mean, I sold, the cheapest house I've ever sold was $500 and I made $2,500. And so people didn't really see the catch. They didn't see the value in it, but it's a lot quicker. It's a lot faster. Now we have a market where there aren't a lot of super cheap deals like that.
Yeah.
There's different opportunities. And what the buyers do for you now is tell you what inventory you should be focused on finding.
Yep.
So it doesn't mean as a realtor you don't want to find the inventory, you don't want to find the listings, but you can focus on finding the ones that are in the highest demand.
Well, and that's exactly what we did. So when my
Yeah.
coach was telling me about this, I said, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense, right? Go find the buyers that are already buying, find out what they want, and go give it to them." And our business literally tripled in a few months once we finally figured that out. And we stopped marketing. We stopped doing any marketing for seller leads, and we just started spreading the word out. And Alicia is so good at this. We're going to talk about it here in a minute. We started spreading the word out. Hey, I'm looking for deals. Send me your deals. Send me what you've got. And we started getting people bringing us deals, right? Other wholesalers, other investors, even realtors started bringing us deals. And so that changed everything for us. I mean, we stopped spending so much money on marketing for leads. We stopped wasting a bunch of time with tire kicking sellers and just started focusing on what our buyers wanted. And it worked really, really well. So over the years, I've been wanting to create a course and I've been wanting to teach people how to do this. But it's just been kind of put on the back burner and I just haven't had the time to do it. Now, a few months ago, Alicia, you reached out to me and we started talking. I thought, oh man, this is fascinating. Tell me again about what you do. And I got really, really interested again in this because Alicia is actually doing it and doing it in a big way. So Alicia, what does your business look like today? What are you doing?
Today, about 90% of my business is out of state investor buyers.
Okay.
It's not that I don't do any retail business, but I've been doing this so long that the opportunities kind of come to me. I don't have any paid leads. All of my business is organic for the internet or social media or repeat business.
All
So
right.
I closed 85 transactions last year.
Okay.
That was a slow year in that I did take some time off. It worked half of the year. I worked about half of the time, but the reason I mentioned that is you can sustain your business when you focus in this kind of niche, because there is so much repeat business. The vast majority of my closed deals were repeat clients last year. So as opposed to
from out of state,
yeah,
looking for deals in St. Louis.
yes.
Mainly St. Louis. Are you doing this in other states or cities?
I'm not. I'm actually just starting to collaborate with agents like me in other markets to bring other opportunities because most of my buyers are open.
Nice.
In fact, a lot of the times the reason they picked St. Louis was because they found me, and St. Louis was just one of several options.
Nice. All right. And so are you, these buyers, they're out of state buyers. So you're not driving them around looking at 20 different houses, right?
Not at all. No.
You can do this. Could you do this virtually from Barbados in the Caribbean?
We could do it virtually from Barbados with the right ground game.
Yeah. The reason I brought Barbados up is
why am I even here talking to you?
Why are you, it's 15 degrees right now,
yeah,
Alicia.
Yeah. You just
why aren't you in the Bahamas?
I know. Yeah, well, talk to me in a couple of years when my kids are out. But
we're just gluttons for punishment.
We're gluttons for punishment. Yeah, you could with a little bit of ground game, just like you teach on the virtual wholesaling side. You could do this from anywhere.
Yeah.
Because one of the beauties of it is when I profile a package and profile a property, I have more than one potential buyer for that property. So besides, all the same things that your wholesalers are doing, besides texting it to a list or emailing it to a list, I'll have 2 or 3 clients that I have, good ongoing buyer relationship with that I'll call personally with that deal. So when I profile a property, unlike with a retail buyer, for the realtors out there listening, I have several potential buyers for that property. So chances are that I'll sell that property as opposed to the buyers, especially these days that are looking at 25 houses, offering on several and losing out on bidding wars.
Yeah. So we're talking about investor buyers, not retail buyers. About how many deals would you do on average, would you say? A month.
I've closed anywhere from 5 to 10 a month.
5 to 10 a month. And so you basically, just bottom line, how this works is you get the buyers who are looking for investment properties, and they're looking for cash flow. They're looking for cash on cash return, ROI, long-term passive income. The BRRRR strategy of buy, rehab,
rent, and
refinance, and repeat. Right. That's a big thing right now, and it's popular. Everybody's talking about it on Bigger Pockets, and it's a great strategy.
Yeah,
but they're looking for inventory, right?
They're looking for inventory. They're looking for deals. Another area I've gotten into in the last few years is short-term rentals.
Okay.
So, which is nice. It's an opportunity to sell more A-class properties. So bigger price points, which is nice.
Yeah. What I love about this, though, is that you're not out there sending a bunch of direct mail, doing a bunch of cold calls, sending a bunch of texts and talking to sellers and making offers, and then following up with sellers. I mean, there's a place for that. Again, I'm not saying that's bad. We're doing a lot of deals like that. But Alicia, you get these buyers, and a lot of times they're coming to you saying, all right, I'm looking for deals. Do you have anything? And you're not chasing the buyers, and you're not chasing deals, right? You're not making 100 offers for every one seller that accepts, right?
No, I'm not. Although, I mean, right now at this moment, it's a seller's market. So there is a little bit of a need for speed, but I just have to prepare my buyers for the fact that they're going to have to make quick decisions right now.
Yeah.
And I collaborate with wholesalers. So it's not that I can't do campaigns for property, but the difference is if you are a wholesaler with a license, you can approach that campaign as an agent, which is a whole nother thing. And it really, you're going to stand out against wholesalers.
Yeah.
And appeal maybe in a different way. If they're getting papered right now by a lot of different wholesalers, you're going to have something different to say.
And you're going to stand out and look and be in a much better light doing it this way than you are if you were doing it as a wholesaler and you're standing before the real estate commission.
Right. Yeah.
Our friends at the real estate commission.
Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I collaborate. I love wholesalers. I love wholesalers that know what they're doing. I like well-educated wholesalers, like the ones who've been through your program, because they understand real values of properties. They understand what the ARV really is. And if you can find a couple to work with, it's great. Especially in a market like Missouri. Not every state's like this. In Missouri, we can actually list property as owner by contract. So it's any state that allows that, it's a really great state to be an investor agent.
Yeah. Okay. So you find the buyers, they're looking for deals, and then you go find the deals and you bring them to them. And many times when you find a good deal, you have 2 or 3 buyers like ready to go.
Yes.
So let's talk about buyers first. How do you find the buyers? What are some of your shortcuts?
Well, it's a lot different than it was 12 years ago. It's a lot easier now to find buyers. It's a great time to be entering the space. One of the easiest ways to do this, it's shooting fish in a barrel, is to go to the Facebook groups in your market where they're labeled for you, St. Louis Investor Group, whatever. It's pretty straightforward. And just be active in those groups. I know a wholesaler who, even if he has it under contract, he'll post his deals in there just because everybody right under it will list all of their email addresses. Yeah. In fact, you don't even have to post a deal. You can just go in there and grab all the email addresses that everybody puts in the comments under another deal. So right there, you already know, here's buyers for this kind of deal. Right there.
And this is funny too. And this is all stuff we're going to be talking about in this case study that we're doing. Yeah. There are so many simple, easy ways to find these buyers.
So this simple.
This is the easy part.
Just DM people, but you just be friendly, talk to them. It's not that you're trying to sell them a deal. You're trying to find out who they are as a buyer and what they're looking for. So list building is free.
Yeah, I was going to say this too, real quick. There's an add-on you can get on Chrome that if there is a email address anywhere on the screen as you're scrolling up or down, it'll scrape all of those emails with just a click and put them into a spreadsheet for you.
Oh, and now you got me taking notes now. That's a good one.
I'll show you later. It's pretty cool.
The other thing is, you know, it just depends. Whoever you are, whatever you know, whatever value you can add, just be consistent on whatever social media outlet you're comfortable with that resonates, makes sense to you.
Yeah.
For me, that's Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Stand Up Agent.
Okay.
And I have built a following. I've got, at this point, most of my buyers that way.
What is it again? I'm going to write it down here.
It's at Stand Up Agent. STANDUPAGEN. There you go. Yeah.
At Stand Up Agent.
Yeah. And so, you know, on my account, I talk about a lot of basic stuff about transactions because the vast majority of people, you know, they're still learning. They want to get into real estate, but they don't know how to start. So that is the audience that I'm mostly speaking to. There's plenty of people on there that I learn from as well that are doing a lot higher level, you know, commercial developments or whatever, raising money and all that kind of stuff. My content is more around what kind of opportunities are in my market, like the story. You know, here's the kind of burr you can buy here. Here's the kind of short-term rental. Here are the kind of mistakes that people make when they rehab a property or list a property, or things that people don't understand about inspections and the process, whatever it might be. If you bring value from what you know, you're going to make connections. And I do the same things. I DM people and say, you know, DM them back to ask a question on something they posted or participate in the comments. When you get into those groups and you're active and you're respectful of people's time and expertise, you're going to build relationships. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. But the other great thing about this space is those relationships are going to help you on your investment business as well.
Yeah. So it's a little investment of some time, not necessarily money, but you know, a friend of mine texted me something from a turnkey company that was promoting a free book that they're offering. And it's just a 20-page book, and it's not working. I actually clicked on the link. It's not working right now, but it was a simple book that gave about 6 different benefits of owning cash flowing rental real estate. Right.
Yeah.
And so that is stuff you can take and kind of use and not copy, but use this for your own content. Take it into your and put it into your own words.
Yeah, you can take somebody else's quote and give them credit for it, but make your own meme out of it.
Yeah, and then use that for your content in the Twitters and the Instagrams and Facebooks, TikToks.
Self and add value. I've done live Q&A threads with other people who have expertise.
Yeah.
There's a mortgage broker on there that I connected with. Those got a lot of attention. We just did it because I knew better questions to ask than somebody just starting out. So yeah, it could be a little time consuming, especially difficult if you have a life unlike me. But so I'm not, especially now we're all a little stuck at home. So it's a great time to get started.
But you could do it from your phone.
You could do it from your phone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the point too. You can, if you're wondering like, what am I going to talk about? Right. There's 100 books that you can get on Amazon right now or in Kindle. There's 1,000 videos on YouTube that you could take and use for ideas on how to create content. You
could literally go down my Twitter history and retweet and add a quote to anything that you found interesting.
There's a lot of good podcasts that are talking about cash flow real estate that you can take some of their content and repurpose and not copy. Again, I'm not saying about plagiarizing, but like get ideas for it, right?
Just give credit, which is fine.
Tag
the source on there. And
here's a there's somebody I'm thinking about, but I don't want to use his name. because he's controversial. But you know, you could say like, well, you know, Bigger Pockets. These guys are awesome, right? Like, here's a great book from Bigger Pockets, and listen, this is something I learned about, and then just 5 minutes talk about these, you know, things.
Yeah, or your experience. You can agree or disagree with the point. And
yeah, and say, you know, and if you'd like to learn how to do this in St. Louis, Missouri, which has some of the best rental properties, best market for this kind of stuff, you know, message me right now, and I'll send you some inventory. I don't know, whatever. Like,
yeah,
right?
Well, a lot of people will have. There's an ongoing, you know, age-old debate about if you're an investor, is it a bad idea to get your license? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea?
You're right.
That's a good topic. It's a good topic for us now, but it's a good topic to get into on social media. You'll get a lot of engagement from asking because people have strong opinions around stuff like that.
Okay, good. So now you find buyers. One of the ways I like to find buyers was sending letters to people that were already buying in other hot markets. What do I mean by hot market? Like turnkey markets. People that were already buying in Memphis, Tennessee, or Indianapolis. And you can see who are the out-of-state buyers that are already buying over there. Yeah, and this is what I did.
That's very easy to pull tax records.
Oh, easy.
Pull tax records, and maybe you found a deal. Pull the tax records from that zip code. Anybody with an out-of-state owner address.
Yep. And you can message them. You can mail them a letter. Get them on the phone. Talk to them.
Handwritten note.
Yeah. Oh, we're dropping.
They stand out so much now because a lot of the buyers and sellers are older, and handwritten note will make a big difference. If you send a thank you note if they take the time to speak to you on the phone, you get value from it. You send a thank you note. It's a huge difference. And it's not, maybe some of the young people watching don't even know how to address an envelope. But look it up on YouTube. It'll be worth it.
But here's the point. This is why I'm so excited about this, guys, is because here we got Alicia's doing 5 to 10 deals a month. Okay. And not doing the traditional marketing stuff that you hear us do and talk about all the time for sellers. She's doing this simple network marketing almost, but it's not an MLM to find buyers that are looking for deals, right? All right. So then, Alicia, you get a buyer who's interested in some deals, and you get them on the phone. You talk to him or her, and they're like, "Yeah, you know, I got 500 grand." I was just talking to somebody yesterday, 2 days ago. He's got 500 grand. They're looking for places to put it, and they're looking for inventory. What do you have? So then what do? You start building up this list. How do you go find the deals to bring to them?
Well, obviously the MLS, which gets a bad rap with investors, but there's a lot of deals on the MLS. Yes.
I'm looking at one right now.
There's a lot of, poorly marketed listings. I mean, let's face it. Well, you'll find that you will get to know some of the tricks to it or find your own. And maybe I'm sure you've applied some of these tactics yourself, besides the ones that are on the market, especially in this market. At this point, if it's 21 days and it hasn't sold, something's going on with that listing. Right? It's
overpriced.
It's overpriced, or something. There's bad information. I see that all the time. So when I'm looking for deals, depending on what my buyer's looking for, I'm looking for something that's underpriced and poorly marketed or overpriced. For me here in our market in the city, if I see something listed and it's by an agent that almost never does business in the city, usually it's either over or underpriced, because it's difficult to price in the city because it's very street to street. It's very specific. A lot as opposed to subdivisions. Or they overpriced it because they listen to the seller, but you don't know until you put offers in front of them. I'm sure you've been shocked a couple of times that something was accepted.
Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorite marketing strategies. You find the properties that have been on the market over 30, 60, 90 days, and you send them offers. It's really difficult. It's really hard to do.
Low. Like how low do you go? How many?
Well, sometimes I've done it different ways, but what I prefer to do is send an email to the realtor, and I do this through propstreamjoe.com if you don't have access to the MLS, and say, hey, I saw your listing here. I'm looking at one right now on HeartNet in McClure. And well, let me pull it up here. And I just say, looks like a nice house. Surprised it hasn't sold yet. It's on Harvey Avenue, 63135.
Yeah.
All brick. Okay. 3-bed, 1-bath. And surprised it hasn't sold yet. Is the seller negotiable on their price? And that's just an email I send out.
Yeah.
Or I might say, would they, I'm surprised it hasn't sold yet. Looks like a real nice house. I'm an investor. Would they maybe consider something in the $50,000 to $60,000 price range? Let me know, because I don't want to waste the realtor's time with sending a contract and all that.
Yeah, you just get those. Yeah, get those. If you don't have any fancy technology, just use the canned messages lab on Gmail and just drop them in.
Because this house I'm looking at right now, it's a decent area. It's a good rental neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but there's a tenant in there, and the seller wants to sell it. And the first thing on the description is in bold capitals with asterisks, do not disturb the tenant.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's been on the market now 40-something days. And maybe the seller is starting to get a little motivated. They haven't sold it yet. They're like, oh, man. And you just say, hey, maybe, you're asking $80,000 for it. Would you consider maybe $65,000 for it or something? And the buyers that were looking for deals like that. And they're not afraid to take a property with a tenant in it. So make the offer.
Make the offers. You just never know. And sometimes a no now turns into a yes later, because sometimes it just has to cook a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely one strategy. As an agent, I have emailed top luxury price range agents with higher price points and said, hey, I sell a lot of investment property between this and this price. And those agents are getting former clients referring people. And they trust me, they don't want to do a $60,000 rental house. They don't want to mess with it. They're selling $500,000 homes out in another part of our market.
Yep.
So I have gotten referrals, a lot of referral business from agents. And, which brings me back to another advantage as an investor of being an agent, is the relationships that you get with other realtors.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them don't want to mess with you at all, with your market at all. And they will gladly toss you and just offer them. Just say, hey, if you have a buyer that's looking in this market that gets referred to you, I will make sure you get no less than $1,000 referral fee. Or if you have a seller, because they're so cheap, they don't see any money in it. And might not even bother referring the person to anybody if you don't offer them some value.
And they're more likely to talk to you when you tell them you're an agent with so-and-so than they are with just an investor.
Yeah, much more likely to do it. And they can check you out on the MLS. They can see even my off-market stuff after the fact. If none of the parties mind, I'll record the sale because of that. The other agents can check out your sale history, and they can see that you're for real, and they are checking that out. So there's a reputation building within the agent world that can work in your favor.
Now, I know this is going to bring up a question a lot of people have, is like, well, you're dealing with in St. Louis, $100,000 homes. You must not be making that much commission, but you can make $3,000 to $5,000 on each of these and more, can't you?
You can. And that doesn't really sound like a lot of money to people, but when you really, at the end of the day, you got to decide how much are you making per hour. So if I'm selling an inexpensive property, I'm not, like you mentioned earlier, I'm not running around with that buyer.
Yeah.
Do a lot of properties. I put one under contract this week. When they're tenant occupied, somebody on my team typically does the video picture tour. Yeah. We market it. I will never step foot in that property. Personally, the inspector will go.
Yeah.
My my team member will go, the inspector will go, but because they're out of state anyway, they're going to have an inspection, as they should.
Yep.
And they're going to get a written report. So how many hours really have I put into that deal? So if I get paid $3,500 on a $60,000 property, I've got, my assistant has an hour into that, and I've got a couple hours.
Yeah. On the low end, $3,500. And you guys, you got to remember this too. I keep on coming back to this. If you hear these people doing big deals, right? Their average profits are $7,000, $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah.
What they're not telling you is the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 they put into marketing
exactly
for that deal.
Which is why I never begrudge a wholesaler their spread.
Yeah.
A lot of realtors will be like, well, they're not even fixing up the house. It's as is, and they're making all this money. Like, they probably traipsed through untold numbers of properties to get that deal, spent hours on the phone, and hundreds of dollars on marketing.
Thousands.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. So like
thousands,
your hourly rate is many times, not all the time, but many times better. And for me, I'm kind of lazy. I mean, I'm not really, I work hard, but like, I don't, if I have the choice of making, $3,500, maybe $5,000 and only working a couple hours versus making $10,000 and working 20, 30 hours for that, I would rather do the one that's less hours.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love selling, I've sold a $1 million 30 house package. Guess who had to traipse through?
Oh yeah.
30 houses.
Yeah. Totally get it. So, you also, just so I'm clear too, you're not like a traditional turnkey company either, where you're not managing the property. You're not managing the rehab.
No,
you're not doing any of that, right?
No, I'm not doing any of that. We offer our clients a list of managers that we have referrals from, and they're welcome to screen. I've done conference calls and helped buyers ask the right questions to screen potential managers.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's the buyer's choice. So I educate, but no, I'm not running that. That's a whole nother business.
Yeah, that is. And there's a place for that too, but that's a lot of work. Again.
It is.
All right. So you get the deals for these buyers from the MLS. You'll go look on, you kind of get with an idea what their budget is, what they're looking for rent. You'll go look at properties. Maybe you would just call the agents, those listing agents, and see, hey, is your client negotiable? Would they accept something, 5-10% less? Then you network with other wholesalers, and you get other wholesalers to bring you deals as well, right? So you get on their buyers lists.
I settle a lot of off market.
Yeah.
Through relationships, and I do targeted mailings sometimes if inventory is low. That's part of the reason that I ended up contacting you about this, because I got into your simple lease option.
Yeah.
Course. Well, my husband's doing it mostly, but we have a VA making calls. But at the same time, I have a licensed assistant who's helping me on the listing side.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-for-1. It might be a deal for us as investors. It could be a listing, or it could be inventory for one of my buyers. So it's not time consuming for us, and it's not our focus. The MLS is for the most part, and digging for deals on the MLS.
Do you find that, because inventory is tighter, that buyers maybe are more, what do you call it? Are more don't have as strict requirements on the deals they're looking for? I mean, they know, like, man, getting a 10 cap rate or getting the cash on cash return of 10% or whatever is not as easy as it used to be. I'm going to have to settle for 8% cash on cash return.
I think that as a real estate agent and I know there's a lot of non-MLS sources for valuations, but nothing's quite as effective as being able to dig in the MLS to uncover what's going on now with inventory and how much inventory there is available. But I think that what I do is just tell them at this moment, I'm not going to let you overpay, because I do think that people are going a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
You and I have been around in this market long enough to know. So I will tell them, that this location, maybe you're paying a little bit more than you would have paid last year, but it's still going to work out for you because, for these reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also have to tell them, that $25,000 turnkey rental deal doesn't exist, with very little exception. It's not going to exist right now in this market, in this location. So you're going to have to change your price point, or you're going to have to change your location. You're going to have to go from C class to D class. Oh, one or the other. That's the one thing we can't do. We can't, the market, even for those of us who do a good job turning over rocks and finding good deals, there's still only so far it can be stretched, right? Between terms or price or location. That being said, when you colleague to colleague as an agent, there's always exceptions, and there's always those deals that people need to move fast. And when people know that you're an agent representing a lot of cash buyers and something has to close, I've had an agent call me and say, my buyer fell out. It's a short sale. We have to close tomorrow, and sold it. So that's one of the advantages to being not only in this niche as an agent, but also as an investor. That, when you're doing that and people know that you close deals because you do such a good job vetting your buyers, deals kind of can land in your lap at the same time. But yeah, it's a little tough right now.
I want to show something here, because I think this will help explain kind of what it is that Alicia does and what we're going to be teaching in this case study. I'm going to try to share my screen here and see if it works. And application window. Oh, here it is. Good. Share. All right. You see my screen? All I did here is go to Redfin. I'll zoom in a little bit. And I just looked in Florissant, and then I kind of removed Boundary. This is a great little market for rental properties. And I went into Redfin. This is free. Anybody can do. House on Redfin more than 30 days. That's it. Price between 75 to 125,000. There's just 16 homes here. And you start looking through some of these things. These are nice, solid homes, right? They're all brick. Yeah. And, maybe they're asking 80 grand, and there's a reason why it's been on the market 42 days. Because number one, it has a tenant in it. And number two, it's probably overpriced. But you can go find, you can go make offers at like 55, 60,000 where it will work. And you never know, that investor, you can just keep on following up. These are really, really good, solid homes. All right. Well, anyway, what you can do then is you put together these PDFs. And this is one of them that I just did. And we're going to show you how to do this in the course, where you can get these professional looking presentations and send them to your buyers and really impress them. This is a house in Oklahoma City that I was just messing around with.
Yeah. This is especially good for out-of-state buyers because they get a full profile and they get everything packaged in one area, in one place for the street view and the map.
And this shows them, you can get $220 a month cash flow, 12% cap rate, and a 28% cash on cash return. Now, this was not a real deal. I was just playing with it. But, a lot of these buyers, they love the numbers, right? And these are spreadsheets. You can do this from your phone, just putting in some basic numbers. It tracks their expenses. They're including vacancies and operating expenses and loan payments if they put money down. Their buy and hold projections, 1 to 5 years, 10, 20, 30 years. This is all customizable. And it gives them also based on figuring in their tax benefits. So figuring also in taking deductions for loan interest, for example, and depreciation.
And depreciation, which is sadly overlooked.
Yes, super important. And then here is all of their investment returns. All I did to create this report, and it took me a couple minutes, was pull a property that was already listed for sale and put the numbers in here. And then you can get really good comps, sale comps, and you can get rental comps from this software. And we're going to show you how to do this. And by the way, we're going to give this software away for free. And you can give away purchase criteria analysis here. And this analysis will show, based on the investor, what's most important to them. Is it the 1% rule? Is it the 50% rule? Is it cash flow at least a couple $100? The cash on cash return of 10% or whatever that is. And then you can include the pictures and all of that. So this is a deal that Alicia actually sent to me that is this a property you just sold or is available right now?
We just listed it last week.
Okay. It's a multifamily, 11 units.
Listing, yeah.
But this report, how long would you say it? I know you were just kind of learning this, but how long did you think it took you to put this up?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. This is amazing. So great cash flow, $1,300 a month cash flow, 8% cap rate, 13% cash on cash return. Description of the property, the map, the rent roll. You can do this for single families or multifamilies.
Yeah, we just had to plug in the information that the seller provided us.
Yeah.
And
you're figuring probably, what is that, 20% or 15% down or something like that?
Well, it's commercial, so we figured 25% down. 25%
down. You put in the interest rates. So this is figuring in all the financing costs, repairs, cash, and this is just year one. So when it's negative, it'll be red. You're figuring in a 10% rehab cost overrun, 10% vacancies, 3% appreciation, income increasing, expenses increase, selling costs, value of the land, and then cash flow per unit, total 1,900 net cash flow. That's net cash flow after all your expenses, utilities, management, all that good stuff. Your projection. So this is what I'm saying is you can put this together real quickly and send it to your buyers and they will love this.
Yeah, we just made it a drive link, sent it out with a little profile.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Look
how much deductions they get in their first year. 49 grand in deductions they get to take. Now, I'm not a tax guy. I don't know.
Yeah, but the depreciation, a lot of buyers look at cash flow only.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually going to be doing one of those Q&A threads on Twitter with a client of mine who's a CPA to explain about depreciation. But this is what I love about this is a quick and easy presentation, but it really impresses clients because investor agents are like unicorns. There's retail agents that will take a listing like this, but they will have no concept of presenting a presentation like this. So I'm just going to put the basic info and make the buyer's agent and the buyers do the work to try to figure all of this out. And a commercial agent often won't put that much time into a small building like this either because they're doing larger deals.
Yeah.
So this is why this niche is so great. It's not, like I said earlier, a lot of my clients chose me before the market because I could speak investment and I will give them something with numbers like this so they can actually analyze the deal quickly. They're busy people. They're full-time professionals. They're not full-time real estate investors.
Yep.
And that's why this niche is so great, whether you're coming at it as a realtor or whether you're coming at it from the investor side. You can add to your income as an investor. And on the realtor side, you can really stabilize your income. You won't have these big gaps after each homeowner finishes their transaction.
Yeah.
Because your investor buyer is going to come back.
Well, I love it. I love it. And so we're going to be doing a case study called License to Earn. That's what the name of it's going to be so far. And we've got a couple different domains that we're looking at getting. But right now, if you're interested, as you're listening to this, we are going to start this case study in a few days. And if you go to joemccall.com/realtor, if you're listening to this online, joemccall.com/realtor, we're going to show you how to make money as an agent working with investors. This is something that you don't have to stop doing your regular wholesaling if you don't want. You don't have to stop doing your traditional realtor stuff if you don't want.
No, not at all.
But like this is just an easy way. Like making $3,000 to $5,000 on each one of these, if you just did 2 of them a month, what kind of difference would that make? Right?
It's a huge difference. Your average realtor makes a little less than 50 grand a year.
I forgot to talk about that. I mentioned that at the beginning.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's the average full-time realtor.
Your average full-time realtor earns a little less than 50 grand a year. Yeah. And this is actually, you're like, but I love doing open houses. I love, working with buyers.
Said no one ever.
There's some realtors do. I didn't make that up. They do. You don't have to stop doing that. What you can do now is turn your buyers, help them with their first rental property. Now you have another reason to go to your regular clients and say, hey, you ever thought about buying a rental property? Mm-hmm. Or when they're buying now, when I do occasionally work with a regular buyer, I'm talking to them from that perspective, from the jump, because nobody stays in a job for 20, 30, 40 years anymore. You might be moving. Well, what happens if you move? Could this be a good rental property for you? And it starts the conversation. Yeah. So it only adds to your income as a realtor, and it only adds to your income as an investor. And that's what I love about this niche. Nice.
All right. So in this case study, it's going to be a live case study where we're going to be releasing modules and teaching you how to do this every week as we progress. And so Alicia and I, mainly Alicia, are going to be teaching you, number one, how this business works. It's super simple. And number two, how to find these buyers. And we're going to show you multiple different ways. You may not be into social media. You may hate Twitter. Trump may have ruined Twitter for you, whatever, right? So
I haven't gotten banned. I'll tell you that.
Well, you're not going to get banned from Twitter by talking about real estate. We'll just tell you that. All right. So, we're going to show you how to get the buyers. Maybe it's social media. Maybe it's direct mail. Maybe it's just hanging out on a few different bigger pockets forums and things like that. Yeah. Then we're going to show you, once you get the buyers, how do you talk to them? What do you say to them? What are some of the things that Alicia does to make sure that you're not wasting your time with tire kickers, right? Because that can be a huge time suck, right?
Yep.
So what are they looking, how to ask them the right questions to find out what they're looking for. And then, all right, now you got some good buyers. How do you find the deals?
How do you push those deals out? How do you find them? Yeah.
And we're going to give you access to the software for free also in there. It's pretty amazing. And you can just in minutes pull up these beautiful reports. You could even, if you had good buyers, you could even just take that live in California, let's say, for example, you could just go straight to the MLS at asking price on some of these deals and put together a report like this and send it to your buyers out of state and see if any of them are interested in it, right?
Yeah, it doesn't even matter if they are or not. It gets them to respond to you, and then you get more information about what they really want. We're also going to give everybody a copy of my course, How to Buy Your First Rental Property.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because if you have never sold investment property, it's going to take you through that whole process, and you're going to be able to refer to it over and over. And if you have, but you've never sold one to somebody else, you bought your own, it's going to teach you how to do things from the agent side.
Well, this is cool too, because people give this course to some of their buyers as well?
They can actually sell a copy as an affiliate.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to see how vested that buyer is.
Yeah.
It's not an expensive course. It's under $100, well under $100.
Yeah.
But if somebody's really vested and they're serious about buying, they're not gonna have any problem dropping, $50, $60 on a course that prepares them for the process.
Yeah. And this is something that's already done. You don't have to worry about being the teacher or the educator teaching people.
Yes, it's going to save you so much time in stepping them through the process. They're going to have half a clue of what they're doing by the time you start.
Yeah, very good. So Alicia already has that course done for you that you can give to your buyers or buy for them or sell it to them for $50, $60, whatever, and make an affiliate commission from that maybe.
Right.
All right. So then, we'll show you how it all works together in the realtor world, because, it's different than the investor world. But here's the other cool thing about doing this as a license that a lot of people forget and overlook. As you know, if you're doing deals as a wholesaler, you don't have errors and omissions insurance, for example, right? Like, but if you do this as a realtor, you have, now I wouldn't say little, you have a lot more protection.
You do. And your broker is, you have somebody helping you with compliance on your paperwork and stuff. And it's just one less thing, to be concerned about. If anybody's nervous about wholesaling in certain states are really tough, like Illinois.
We're seeing this over and over and over again. Illinois, Oklahoma tried to pass a law, and they're trying to pass it again, where it's becoming harder and harder, almost illegal to wholesale deals. And this just eliminates all of that. Just makes everything so much easier. So awesome. I'm excited about this. So what we're going to do is it's going to be, we don't know if it's going to be 4, maybe 5, 6 weeks, but it'll just be, we'll be giving you a little bit at a time, giving you time to go implement it. So we're going to teach you. You're going to go then and implement it, and then you're going to come back with questions. And we'll be doing coaching calls once a week during this case study. And Alicia will be available to answer your questions. Like, okay, this is, maybe you should do it this way or look at it this way. And then we'll give you support where you can come in and ask questions about the best way to do this stuff. We're going to give you all of Alicia's resources and the tools that she used to find these deals. And then, you get it all in a membership site, so you can access it and use it later when the case study is done. So this is a new program we're creating. We're going to be selling this way cheaper than it's going to be in the future, because we're looking for testimonials. We're looking for case studies and people that we can use as an example of, hey, look at Susan. This is what she did. This is how it worked for her. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited about it. I do these case studies like 3 or 4 times a year. I've been wanting to do this one for a long time. Cool. Anything, Alicia, you want to add to this just to wrap it up?
Just if you're, like I said before, if you're an investor or a realtor right now, this is just going to make your life easier and grow your income without doing too much more than what you're already doing. Or even if you're a new agent, this is going to make your income a lot higher than the average. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is going to be really, really good. I know this is going to be super valuable and important for a lot of you listening to this, looking for other options, other alternatives. All right, guys, go to joemccall.com/realtor, joemccall.com/realtor. All the information for when this class starts will be on there. And even if you're listening to this or watching it after it started, if you go to that same link, it'll redirect you to the new page that we're going to have. And that will, you'll get all the information about what it is and what we're going to cover and all that good stuff. Cool. Alicia, thank you so much.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
We'll see you guys all soon. Again, go to joemccall.com/realtor to get more information on this course, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you.
All right, thanks.